entertaining podcasts I listen to. I don't listen to many. That one, Francine, is a different point of view. It's a female point of view, but someone who's been through the hardcore wars.
Yes.
So what Francine has to say to me matters and is important. And there are two guys up in New York, Monty and the Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
I find them hugely entertaining. I find them fun to listen to. But those three are the only three podcasts really other than, the PW Insider stuff that I listen to at all.
No scripts, no apologies. This is Marty and the Pharaoh. Step into the fire, we're breaking all the rules. Voices getting louder, we ain't playing for fools. From the streets of New York to the worldwide stage, uncaged opinions, yeah, we bring the rage. Truth hits hard like a chair shot swing. Legends get tested when the real ones sing. No filter talk, yeah, we say it proud. If you got a problem, say it out loud. Lights go down, we ignite the sound. No backing down when the truth comes out. With a nano filter case, yeah, we run this game. Monty and the Pharaoh, remember the name. Turn it up loud, let the whole world hear. We bring the heat, bring the pain, bring the fear. No filter case, yeah, we cross that line. Say what we want every single time. From the top rope down to the underground, Monty and the Pharaoh gonna shake this town. Go!
And of course, I'm unprepared as I didn't pop the screens up. I was ready to pop right on there. It's a Thursday night. It is the Howard Stern Pro Wrestling Monty the Pharaoh. Jimmy, how are you, buddy?
What I hear Brunson scoring right now. What's going on?
Oh, you just did it.
I did
You know what?
nothing.
I tried to
I've done
avoid
nothing.
the Nick conversation.
Your
and
negative juju don't mean shit this year.
Oh, okay, everybody, please listen in. Jimmy has done this to every New York team, and finally he feels like
It's
it's
not
going
me.
to have. He
The New
thinks
York
that
Knicks thing is not
Danhausen.
determined by this schlep from Brentwood. No, it's
Oh,
not.
yes,
You're
it
wrong.
is.
You're insane.
Yes, no, I am
That's
not.
insane.
No, I'm not. No, I am not. But you know what, Jimmy? Let's just find out, okay? Who's got more?
I would say that the thundercloud of New York comes from fans like you. I would say.
Who's got more power, Pharaoh or Danhausen? My money is on the Pharaoh.
Well, Danhausen has already I guess, do you realize Danhausen is the one who, first of all, before the playoffs started, lifted the curse and is continuing to curse every opponent of the New York Knicks as this continues.
I understand that, and he has cursed the Cavaliers, which I totally understand.
So
but
what I'm trying
now,
to say
wait a minute, hold on. What's been reversed is you have now put the old I hear Brunson scoring New York Knicks. Okay, listen, Jimmy.
You know, it's funny, too. All I said was
I
heard Brunson scoring a 3, and your negativity don't mean shit to the fate of the team, and yet somehow you've decided I pronounced something, which I haven't. Just stand by.
All right.
And why?
All right. So can I tell a story? I'm going to tell a story to everybody out there. So
No predictions.
one time I asked
Stand by and
Jimmy when
watch.
the Rangers made the playoffs, right? I
What year
said to
was
Jimmy,
that? Because
this a couple of years
outside of
ago.
Messier, there's
This is a
never
couple
been
of years
anything.
ago. Jimmy and I said to Jimmy, the big joke is I said, Jimmy, every time you say these teams are going to do something, they fall on their face. So Jimmy, I said, just try this. Don't say a word. And the Rangers won the first round, and they won the second round. And finally, Jimmy felt confident in the third round to say the Rangers are going to win.
Oh, so all those times when you call me during the course of a season, like the 2 times the Rangers have won the President's Trophy, and you're telling me they're shit from day one, and I'm telling you exactly what I think, like, they could go somewhere and they're pretty good, and I'm giving you this nice analysis, you turn it into, I'm ruining everything. You're insane.
You're
really
ruining. Listen, you're not ruining anything.
Dr. Melfi from The Sopranos.
Do you think?
That's it.
Do you think I give one shit if the Knicks win the NBA title? I could care
Wow.
less at this point.
I'm
serious. I don't care.
Wow.
I don't
Tell me
care.
why. No, you know what? This is
Why? I'll tell you why.
Me why.
I'd rather watch Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark win a title. I'll be honest with you.
Oh,
and I mean that.
You're like in the bathroom while if they ever seal the deal,
Nope,
you'll be in the
I'm
bathroom.
going to tell you what.
Pornhub.
WNBA
Terrible.
basketball is better than NBA basketball. In my opinion.
The attendance says so too. WNBA.
Well, listen, I'm talking about the fighting, the intensity. I'm sorry.
They probably do care more. I'll give you that. I'll bet you.
I mean, and I get it. We're rooting. Jimmy, we're at an age now. We're rooting for 20-year-olds. No thanks. Don't want to do it.
Well, so much for wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
That's pretty funny. Oh my God.
Listen, Jimmy, here's the thing.
I'm hoping for the best. And can we at least be happy that they've rattled off 8 wins in a row? I mean, and that ridiculous comeback. I can't feel good at all right now.
You can feel good all you want. I just didn't want you to say anything. I want you to remain. I want you to remain feeling good. But we'll get out of this show, and I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to be down by 40, and that's what's going to happen.
At home.
At home.
You know what? Being down by 22 with 6 and change didn't seem to bother them the other night. I don't know. It's strange. It's very strange.
So, Jimmy, everybody out there, I wanted to have a quick conversation, right? Jimmy and I had a really good conversation before we got on the air, and we were just talking about things. So we had a pretty hectic week, right? We had the first show on Thursday where Jimmy and I. Well, no, it was you and me.
Oh
first,
yeah,
Thursday.
that's right. This
right?
has been a blur.
And we spoke about James Romero and Dutch Mantel, and then everybody knows that I'll take responsibility. I've decided to start the Dutch Mantel's crazy whatever the fuck I call it.
I think they already know who started it, Mike.
Right, but Jim, listen, I'm being fair. Jimmy was like, hey man, if he's really sick, I don't really dig that shit. And I get it. But I don't know if he's sick or not. I really don't. And you know what? Where is the fucking, Jimmy, you're this isn't us arguing. To me, it's like, where's the comedy in the whole thing? It's comedy,
the
right?
premise itself, I'm totally on board with, because of course he's a cash cowing Dutch. Come on. How you feeling, Dutch? Do you need a little NyQuil? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that in premise is funny. Now, if he's really sick, as you've said, I'm like, I don't know. But the premise itself, I think is funny. Too bad, folks,
And first of all, Maria Davis is back in the house. Maria, we missed you. I know you had your brother passed away, and God bless you.
Very sorry, Maria.
We've been thinking about you.
Okay.
I mean, that's serious shit. This other shit isn't serious. But let's talk a little further into this, right? So I want to thank everybody who has resubscribed to the original Monty DeFaro channel as we try to build that up again. If anyone didn't know, our first channel was shut down to our political ideas after how many years? 2 years, Jimmy, maybe?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, not just us, but the wrestlers that we interviewed. God forbid they voiced their opinion. YouTube had shut that channel down, but when we inaugurated our Mr. President Trump, he had put some in the thing where you could, he knew a lot of social media, again, not just about us, but just in general. You had a right to appeal these, and we appealed this like 6 months ago, and out of nowhere the first channel came back, and we feel very lucky. So we posted, we spoke a lot about James Romero. If anyone doesn't know who James Romero is, and a lot of people probably don't, unless you watch wrestling YouTube. And Romero, we spoke about him last week, and on the first channel. Also, shout out to Bruce. Thank you for all the help on the first channel, as always. The first channel, a lot of hate for us, right? A lot of James Romero fans,
Sure.
And on this channel, it's probably split about. At one point, it was like 80-20, but now it's kind of like 60-40. But the point is, I was telling Jimmy, right? This is not my real life. This isn't Jimmy's real life, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's name some facts that people get straight. James Romero's camera is better than the cameras we use. Guess what? If I wanted to invest and Jimmy wanted to invest in cameras, right? And again, this isn't knocking anything. We'd invest in better cameras. Jimmy and I's ultimate goal is to go back in studio, right? That's what we want to do, right?
Right.
I don't want to produce. I just want to do a show with Jimmy and have a good time and fucking entertain you guys and make you laugh, like with fucking skeleton Dutch Mantel. But that all being said, James Romero has a better microphone. Okay. But
Mike, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
People writing stupid shit like this?
Oh, it's like you guys are just trying to become popular on James Romero's back. Bro, we've been doing this like forever. Again.
The TV studio thing that we were doing, do I have to say anymore? Shut up. The camera is back. Wow. Talk about free time.
Well, dude, even when we were in studio, we had those gold mics.
Sure.
So they weren't the most upgraded mics. People were like, oh my God, gold mic. Listen, assholes, it fucking works. Can you hear? I mean, Romero.
Black Sabbath didn't always use the same recording microphones as the Beatles, but they both sound good. Imagine that.
Again, isn't it about the content? But let's just go deeper.
Jesus.
Then you got people saying, "Oh my God, you guys are making fun of Dutch Mantel. You're wishing Dutch Mantel died." I don't wish Dutch Mantel died. If Dutch Mantel died, okay.
What are we gonna do?
Okay, that's it.
Kyle Busch just died, Mike. Did you hear?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. Once I get this off our chest, we'll hit that.
Sure,
but,
by all means.
But again, people are out there going, how dare you talk about a legend? Let me tell everybody out there, understand this. Dutch Mantel is no legend. He is no wrestling legend. In fact, if you talk to the boys, okay, Dutch Mantel is the biggest fucking stooge in wrestling. He was a fucking stooge. Now, is he a great podcaster? Yeah, I guess so. People like to listen to him. Can't argue that. But you're not going to tell me the guy's a fucking legend, right, Jimmy?
You know what? Here's my opinion on Dutch Mantel. He had a decent wrestling career. He did some good stuff. He did a lot of good stuff. He is nowhere near a legend. Please stop. See, this is where idol worship comes in. This is why people sit and type to you about who had what microphone. Man, you people are, you put these people you don't even know on a pedestal. It's ridiculous. He's not a legend in pro wrestling. We throw it around way too much. I'm sorry. Ric Flair is a legend. Shawn Michaels is a legend. Dusty Rhodes is a legend. Bret Hart is a legend. Dutch Mantel. Do you hear the names I just mentioned before I got to Dutch Mantel? This is not a disrespect. There's tears. There's tears, just like in territories and everything else in this crazy world of wrestling.
But to be honest, Jimmy, Dutch Mantel is in the lower tier.
Of course.
I mean, if you're going to tell me who is more important in wrestling, Johnny Rods or Dutch Mantel, who are you choosing?
You know what? To me, Johnny Rods. But I'll tell you what. I'll use a name like Killer Khan. Do you think Dutch Mantel's in Killer Khan's tier?
Not even close. Not even close.
I don't. And again, everybody's a legend, and everybody. I can't anymore. I spend zero time doing this. Where I gotta. Oh, there goes Bruce. He spends zero time too. Elevating other people. Whatever relationships I've built with people that are known in this business, I did because I'm just a guy. I'm not looking to I'm never going to put someone on a pedestal. The golden calf crap, that don't work for me.
By the way, a mess says he knew about us guys, but way before Romero, and he remembers Spidey. We remember Spidey. Here's a good question. Before the Dutch was over a part of the. Sorry, I got what.
Dutch
Fuck
had
it, I
his-
gotta tell you. Maybe I
Dutch
should
had
buy a
his-
new fucking computer because I can't
Dutch had his
with the
moments.
song.
Dutch had his spots in certain territories in Puerto Rico and stuff like that, but he's not. I can't. I just
Dutch
can't.
was
Like
over
I'm
in
still
part of
like
Memphis
Dusty
for a
Rhodes is
month in
legend.
1982. He's right, a month. LOL. I agree.
Right. He a hell of a podcaster, and I'll tell you what he did to me because I like humor and stuff. He did to me always have a certain it factor because of that insane look of his. He's Yosemite Sam.
What
How can that not
insane
work to a
look?
degree?
It is maybe the stupidest look, man.
I know it is. I like it. I think it's goofy, stupid.
I never
I
liked
never
Dutch
minded
Mantel,
him.
dude. I got to be
But I'll
honest
tell
with
you
you.
what, I never minded him more later. Like the Dutch Mantel that I was aware of through the magazines and stuff, he seemed like a good hand and he was mid-card. Did I miss something, Mike?
No, you didn't miss a thing.
Okay. Years later, I liked Zeb Coulter. I thought that was fun.
By the way,
I had a
Bong
good-
Wong
What is
says
your name?
Tommy Rich or Dutch Mantel. Who's the legend?
Tommy Rich is come on, stop. He's like Tommy Rich is in another level. Is Tommy Rich Dusty Rhodes? No, but he's probably in a very sexy tier somewhere. Tommy Rich is he's a name.
Our friend Rib Shots in the house. Rib, so I haven't seen
Hey,
you in
Rib.
like 2 weeks. So last week was a little tough. We got a lot to talk about, Jimmy. My God. But we're opening up. We're talking about last Thursday's show where we kind of all went off on James Romero and Dutch Mantel. And we took a little heat from the James Romero Dutch Mantel fans. And you caught us in the middle of discussing people saying Dutch Mantel's a legend, how you speak to him. And the point, so you're asking if there's any beefs. Here's the thing. We don't have beefs. We're two older guys who do a somewhat popular podcast, and we talk our feelings. The president, weigh in here. The president's been with us, and Maria Davis have been with us since inception.
Yeah.
We've had shows that we never even spoke about an ounce of wrestling. We talk about religion. We talked about world affairs. We've talked
What's that all-time classic? We talked about the Love Boat.
The Love Boat. The entire show is about. And again, some people find it entertaining. Some people go, "Hey, fuck you! You guys are assholes!" Right?
The View said it was just fine.
So here's the fact, though. Here's the fact. Does James Romero have better production than we do? Absolutely, but we could go into studio and have just as better production than him. Does he have a better microphone? Yes. Does he ever go live? No. You know why he doesn't go live? And these are facts. He's a talentless fucking hack. That's a fact. If it wasn't for the people watching his show, and some of them are in this chat room right now, okay, he wouldn't even know the questions to ask. And on top of that, he's such an arrogant fuck, okay? This kid, and I call him a kid because I'm an old man. I have that right? This arrogant fucking asshole acts like he's never seen any show. So, what got me fired up today? I was finishing up at work. I was doing something. I put on YouTube for a second, and there's Romero talking about Sean Oliver. By the way, Sean Oliver will be appearing on the Howard Stern Pro Wrestling this Wednesday. Jimmy, I'm sorry. I couldn't get him for Thursday.
Okay.
He has to come on the show, but he's like, "Can we do Wednesday?" And
that's fine. All right. I'll be there.
All right, cool. Oh, that's right. You're off. Beautiful.
Dude,
so
I love Sean Oliver, man. By the way, is he gonna get me Martha's phone number now?
You know what? I'll tell you something off there that you'll find very funny. But
okay.
Romero goes on there to talk about Sean Oliver, and he did stupid sticky shit. When he used to do things. Let me tell you something, James Romero, and this is a fact. You couldn't fucking carry fucking Oliver's fucking jock.
Right.
Oliver is a true fucking talent.
Oh, Oliver.
Romero, is not even fucking a fucking pit bull on that dude's ass.
Am I wrong to say this? Although I do think he's much has a much better sense of humor, but I feel like Oliver is the Mike Francesa of what he does, man. Am I missing something?
What do you mean? Who has a better sense of humor?
I think Sean has a much better sense of humor than Mike. Mike has no sense of humor. Francesa. But I'm just saying, the professionalism of Sean Oliver, the fact that he's always dressed in the suit for or even when he's not, he's well-dressed. He really plays the part amazingly. He's an amazing moderator, period.
But here's the thing. He's quick-witted.
Oh God,
He has a sense of humor.
Yes, he does.
Gets it. Okay.
Yes.
And this won't be Sean Oliver's first appearance with us. It won't be his second, and this will be his third. And
I think so,
here's
yeah.
and here's the other thing for people who want to listen. He requested to come on our show. I didn't say, "Hey, Sean, I need you on the show. Help me out." Blah blah blah. I said something to him on Instagram.
I've been watching Click This a lot too. That's weird.
Clickless is a really good show, and that's what
It is.
Romero went into talking about Kevin Nash and his cheap ass equipment and
oh come
on
really?
and on and on and on. I mean, listen, dude,
Stop.
would you ever have thought, again, we said it last week, would you ever have thought that Stevie Richards would be a guy that people would watch?
No, but I do like listening to Stevie Richards. I must admit it. Although I did hear Kevin kind of bury him this week on Click This, but
well, that's what Romero was talking about. That was
Yeah.
his whole show about that, right?
Well,
so
what
what did Kevin say? What did Kevin say that was so bad in your opinion?
He was basically like, because he was critical of, I believe, I hope I get this correct, but I think I do. He was critical of Richards talking about Stephanie's Hall of Fame induction speech, I believe, and stuff like that. And Kevin was saying, "You're nobody. You're a snail at the bottom of a tank. You don't know Stephanie McMahon. You know nothing about her." He goes, "You know what I saw? I saw Stephanie go out there, hit it out of the park, and at the end she did like a heel promo. She went into her heel Stephanie thing and said, 'Follow this bitch,' basically." He goes, and nobody did. He's like, Stevie Richards is like a snail at the bottom of. I could see why Kevin would see things that way, because Kevin was a big fish in that tank he's talking about. Facts are facts.
Well, Romero plays the game too, dude. It's like he goes, "Oh, Stephanie McMahon took all the time, and Sid Vicious's family got no time." Here's the deal: that Stephanie McMahon speech, I don't care what anyone thinks. I thought it was one of the most incredible speaches ever.
Yeah,
and
well,
to be honest with you, you know what? I'm sorry. Yes, Sid probably needed a little more, and he was a great talent. But the fact of the matter is, I don't want to see his son do a speech about him. Thank you. I don't want to see it.
At least he got the moment to have his son have a speech for him. So many others have been backdoored. So why can't people just let it be?
Well, again, it's called let me bend towards popular opinion. And then Romero goes on to say, Jimmy, that him and Stevie don't want to talk about bad things, but there's so many bad things in the news, and we, what else can we do? That dude is king of the fucking clickbait. And again, for the younger fan that wants to watch that you want to watch the young kid do his shit, right?
Right.
Fine. But here, understand something. You want true talent? Look at Monty DeFaro. Look at fucking Sean Oliver. You want to watch a fucking guy who gets his questions because he knows nothing, and he gets his questions from the fucking news, or he does clickbait on ripping people. So again, that's the other thing too, dude. This is YouTube. We're on fucking New York cable, dude. Right. 150,000 strong.
Still the
We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook with over a million something views a fucking month. Again, is Romero more popular than us on YouTube? Sure. Who cares? I don't care. Still doesn't change my opinion about him.
Right. I completely agree, dude. I think he's an arrogant fuck myself, because the very things he snoots his nose at, he practices worse than others. But he tries to get away with it like in a quiet, sinister, like he's the master from Doctor Who. He's very I guess arrogant. That's it. It's just arrogance.
Dude, I got to read this comment, but I want to take my sunglasses off. I love when people at least say what they feel, right? Hey, Monty, you squint eye leak. Ready? Hold on, dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is like Dublin. Again, let's see what people got to say. I got no problem. I'll respond. Hey, Monty, you squint-eyed Lee Cole stooge. Dutch Mantel's a professional wrestling legend. You can lean it the easy way or the hard way. He is not. Okay, so Ike Dublin, okay? He is not a wrestling legend. You're probably 18 years old. You grew up on watching his fucking podcast, and he's not, okay? And Lee Cole stooge. What is a Lee Cole stooge, dude?
That would mean that you on board with Lee Cole. Lee Cole, I've never wanted to
That's what I'm saying. It's like
from the beginning. Whatever. You know. And look, you got your own personal pecking order. You want to call him a legend? I don't know how old or young you are. Whatever. He's not. Mil Mascaris, look it up. That's a legend. Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales is a fucking
Oh,
legend.
look who it is. It's Mike Durbin. He's Conan's little bitch. Right after we had our problems with Conan. Thank you, B40. Nothing, B40 rules, dude. That's a dude from those the fucking guys that do their fucking podcast from the bathroom.
Oh,
The
okay.
Get My Go guys.
Yeah, I've already forgotten them. I guess the toilet flushed in Flushing. Go ahead.
Again,
I hope Conan's feeling well, by the way. And
I
that we're also
I do
we're
hope he
still
is
on
too.
we're still on Believe, by the way, too. But go ahead.
What's that? Oh yeah, we are still on Believe. Thank you for that.
So go
too.
ahead.
Yeah, that's right. Conan had predicted that we'd be off Believe. Was it last year?
Last
right?
year. He's already a year behind his prediction. Way to go, Nostradamus. Go ahead.
All right. So anyway, good point. If you think someone's a legend, go ahead and say they're a legend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but you know what?
whatever.
He's no fucking legend.
For the
Okay,
dinosaurs
he's no
like you and
fucking
me.
wrestling legend. Let me ask you something. Did anyone buy a ticket ever to see Dutch Mantel?
Not in my lifetime, but you know what? I've been around a long time. Now in those days, like those little spurts that he had in certain territories, but they was look, he's a mid-Carter. Stop. It's not Ricky Steamboat. What the fuck's going on here?
Well, let's talk about this one, Jimmy, because you were working, but let me open
Yeah.
it up with someone's comments, and then we could
Right.
get into it. Again, if you like James Romero, go ahead. But you know what? He's a talentless fucking hack. And so are those fucking clowns from Get My Go. No, fucking another idiots.
Oh, I won't even waste breath. Go ahead.
Oh, please. You know what? That's another thing. The fucking Shelley's fucking host fucking friends with those fucking losers, too.
Well, you know what, too? And change that shower curtain. It looks terrible.
I know. It's like, you know what? Make fun of us. Get a fucking better shower curtain, please.
Right.
My God.
I mean, you can actually smell the lack of Irish Spring.
Well, let's not forget, you know what? I don't want to look at your mommy's titties as she's taking a shower, too, while you're doing your fucking podcast. That fat bitch is nasty. Anyway.
Shit.
Tom Manrock says Ray Stevens beat the shit out of Marty Jannetty. Let's talk a little Marty Jannetty, buddy.
Go ahead.
So, real quick, let me get this here. Friend of the show. Let me pop this up. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Oh, by the way, I want to remind everybody the following, after Wednesday, that Thursday, we got our friend Davy Crockett coming in. I love myself some David Crockett on Thursday. Yeah. So we got Sean Oliver Wednesday, David Crockett on Thursday.
Nice lineup.
Yeah, so
that's killer. That's killer.
Love it. So I'm at the gym.
We only had better cameras, Mike. You know.
That's right, Jimmy. I like that. I like that. So I'm at the gym, and Eddie Mansfield writes me, and Eddie's friend of the show. I love Eddie. He's like, "Hey, man, send you a picture." Sends me the picture of Marty, which people took this picture from our show, doctored it up, did some shit. Fucking James Romero tried to act like it was AI at one point. You could see that video too. He's like, it could be AI. All right. Got the picture.
Yeah.
Instantly felt terrible for Marty. Marty is a great friend of the show. He's a good human being. And that's a wrestler. That's a legend, douchebag, not Dutch Mantel. Okay. So, and he's like, I'm really angry for Marty. Very, very upset for Marty. I want to go on the show. So I'm like, all right. Now, I'm being honest with you, Jimmy, and you can tell me if you believe me or not, okay? I thought Marty knew that he was coming on the show, right?
Logically.
Yeah. So we go on the show. We unveiled to the audience. I secretly unveiled it to you. You never responded to the picture, but I sent it to you. It's to send it to the president, Phil DeCesare, who was upset. Send it to Bruce. And I said, hey, I'm doing a makeshift show tonight about it. Again, I thought Marty knew. Eddie comes on. We reveal to the world that Marty had his leg cut down from his knee down. And then, Eddie went on about how upset he was for Marty and everything else. I wanted to know what your feelings were about. And by the way, the videos went viral, and we were all over the fucking. We actually were on Channel 7 News. They gave us a shot, and not trying to brag. This isn't brag. I'm just saying it was just world news about the great Marty Jannetty. But I wanted to know your thoughts, Jimmy. What'd you think?
We didn't even have proper mics for that show. It's amazing. Well, that was a blur. Life has been a blur for me lately. I had to work that night, and when you got the text sent over to me with the picture, I was in the process of getting ready to go to work, so it was a blur. I remember feeling kind of worse than sad. I remember feeling angry because this business is fucking ridiculous. I thought about that. I thought about all the years we've known Marty and watched him drag that foot around, and this is the end result. And I'm like, that's not very fair, God. So then, I got really like sad but angry at the same time. I sent Marty a text in the middle of the night because I know with Marty, it doesn't matter what time it is, you can do that with him. And I told him, I was like, I'm thinking about you and never change who you are. I know Marty has wrestled a lot with his own demons and stuff, but Marty is a free spirit and Marty is a good person. And I felt nothing but helplessness, and I still do. And that's how it is right now for me with this whole thing. And there goes Bruce. Hey, buddy.
So I'm not an addict. Okay, I probably eat too much, right? I mean, that's probably an addict. That's an addict. Jimmy, you're not really an addict. You're a smoker, right?
Yeah, that's an addict.
But I mean, just overall. Let me put it this way: drug addict. How's that?
No, I'm not a drug addict. I'm not looking for meth.
When I used to think about Marty, I used to say to myself, like, hey, I don't know why he's this way, right? Why can't he get his shit straight? I think I've actually said that to him a few times, like, get your shit straight. But Eddie had revealed something to me that I did not even know. His fucking ankle's been this bad for fucking 20 years. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse.
Right.
And then I thought to myself, no wonder the dude's getting high all the time. You're living your life in consistent pain.
All the time.
All the time. Why wouldn't you get high?
All the time. The business. Look, if you have an addictive, compulsive, gene in you, this business will eat you alive. That's it. That's all there is to it. Some people just can't help being themselves. I'm one of them. I'll never judge Marty for his life. Never. If anything, I probably would have done a lot of the same things if I haven't already anyway.
Is Marty Jannetty a legend?
To me, he is in the pro wrestling business, yeah.
Do you think that all wrestlers... See, this is how fucked up the podcasting world is.
It's tears.
The comments, we're going to call them in right now. Couldn't have come in at a better time. Whoa.
Yeah.
Let me see here. There he is. Oh, it's Jim Terry. What's up, Jim Terry? How are you, buddy?
Fellas, thank you for letting me join the program today. Obviously, it is a prerequisite that everybody must have at least a pair of dollar store sunglasses to be on this podcast.
Hey, time out for a second. Mike, I thought he was fucking banned. What's he doing here?
I actually thought this was Jamie Dundee. And all of a sudden, I looked down, and I'm like, oh, it's Jamie Dundee.
Okay.
Why would I be banned? I've got more info than you could possibly imagine.
Well, listen, hold on. Let's be fair.
Your info. I think you might have dropped the wrong word when you were on last.
Yeah, you dropped the bad word, and you beat up on one of our favorite people, Shelley. But let's see if we can keep this under control, Jim. But thanks for coming on.
Well, there's a lot of corporate jealousy over here, Monty. We all know that. First of all, I've got a little, and I've had some dealings with. I've had some dealings with Marty Jannetty, one of the sweetest human beings you could possibly imagine. He must be getting. What's he going to go watch? Jim Cornette? Where's he going?
He's coming back. Yeah, he's got to get his cat. His cat is part of the show.
There's a spider in the room, James, and the cat's going ballistic.
So, Phil, thoughts on Marty Jannetty there, Jim?
So, first of all, Marty Jannetty, and it's not just because he comes on your podcast or whatever. I had some dealings with him. One of the sweetest guys. Where's he from? Tennessee, Georgia? Where'd he grow up?
Jimmy, where's he from? Atlanta, right? Atlanta, GA?
Your guess is as good as mine. That's James's job.
So he is just one of the nicest I mean, you can tell he's from the deep South. You know what I mean?
For
I was going to say
sure.
the Carolinas or whatever. He's just got that way about him. Nice guy, but guys, can I speak? Now that's one thing, and it's terrible to see him go through this. I think this was inevitable. Anybody that saw the documentary that came out on him a while ago saw that ankle. I don't know how he held on to that ankle as long as he did. Number two, you got to wonder what the motivation to put that out there, the way it was put out there by Eddie Mansfield is. Eddie Mansfield is one of the most underrated interviews in all of professional wrestling for any podcast or radio show. There's a lot of people that will never put him on, and there's some people that put him on, but he's very good at getting out of it what he wants to get out of it. So my question is, why would he not let Marty spill the beans on it? And the thing about, and I know, and listen, I'm the one that brought him to you guys, Eddie Mansfield. Eddie Mansfield always has an angle. He's always doing things for a reason. I would like to know why he would put somebody's medical information like that out there.
So to defend Eddie, and Jimmy knows Eddie too, I'm going to defend Eddie on this one. So the aftermath of the last week's show was obviously, everybody knows, like I had said, it went viral on all the dirt sheets, and it actually made real headline news. Marty called me, right? And Marty was not pleased at all. And
at you or at Eddie Mansfield?
At me.
But
okay.
Why at you? Why wouldn't he be mad at Eddie Mansfield? See, that's
because everybody knows that me and Jimmy have a very popular pro wrestling show, and he felt like we kind of fucked him over, right?
Did you know Eddie Mansfield was going to say that before he came on the show?
I did. But to be fair though, I thought Eddie had already cleared it with Marty.
Sure.
And so I wrote.
Mike,
go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
James, wouldn't that be a normal assumption? Because I wasn't aware of any of this shit either, James. Like as this was happening, I was preparing to go to work. I wasn't even on the show, so I was assuming the same thing Mike was assuming. Isn't that reasonable?
Yeah, I'm one. I know Eddie Mansfield. I know him a little deeper than most people. Like I said, I'm the one who brought him to you guys. There's a part of him that's untapped. He's hard to control. He always does things for a reason, and he'll double talk. Now, if he has something to say, you could take it to the bank. But yeah, I don't blame you whatsoever. And that's where I was going with this. You were getting some unfair flack. And this is 100%. If right now a wrestler called me and says, "Hey, Jim, I want to come on your show. I found out Shawn Michaels got his eye removed." Okay, great. I've never heard this. Come on. I wouldn't try to track down Shawn Michaels to ask him, because the guy that's going to report it is the one that's actually doing the due diligence. He just came to your podcast. So, yeah, this isn't on you.
Well, I appreciate that. B40 says, Eddie made it sound like he was talking on Marty's behalf. Now I'm going to defend Eddie. I think Eddie thought he was doing the right thing. And I think Eddie, in his heart, I told this to Marty, because Marty then got pissed at Eddie, right? And I said, I believe Eddie was doing this out of love for you, Marty. And, let's talk in reality, guys, okay? This would have come out one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
Right? We can't deny that, right? And, honestly, I was hoping something better would come out for Marty, like the WWE would have done something for him. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's what I was hoping for.
I've got it. And listen, like I said, I know Eddie. I don't know Marty. I've had dealings with Marty. He's always been above board with me. He's been a nice guy. He lived in the same neck of the woods that I lived in Pinellas County, Florida, for a while. The onus here is on Eddie Mansfield. My question is the same one I started this thing with. Why did Eddie feel the need to do it here and now? Okay,
so I guess the discussion then will be, did Eddie do this to bring himself to a spotlight?
Mike, if I can, quick. James, have you talked to Eddie since this all happened? And do you know whether or not Eddie has talked to Marty about this?
No. The last dealings I had with Eddie Mansfield were a bunch of late night, and I'm going to say almost like a drunk text or drunk calls. He would call me and ramble on about things he was doing. Then he would yell at me, and then he would just hang up. And I took his calls. There was about 3 or 4 of those several months back. It was after I appeared on the show with him. But if you remember the show I appeared on with him here, what did he say? brother, you don't talk about things that we talk about off the air on here. He was mad, and I've got the audio tape of what he told me about Alpha and Sika. I found it. I played it for Monty. I have that tape and what he talks about Sergeant Slaughter and some of these other things. But here's the deal with Eddie Mansfield. He went up one side of me and down the other. In fact, he called me a stooge. Now, what does he do? He comes over here and stooges out Marty's medical information. I mean, this isn't Marty making a comeback or doing a movie. This is, I mean, I don't think, but then again, you should think maybe Eddie Mansfield is the best person to tell secrets about, about your medical history. So I wonder what the angle is for Eddie. And then Eddie comes up here and cuts a promo, which he was way off base. My brother's a 25-year member of SAG. You and I talked about this, Monty, as to why wrestlers can't be SAG after participants and the difference in it. Eddie's got a very good background as a producer. He's done a lot in the business, but Eddie is not the Bible on everything. So my question is, why would Marty trust Eddie? Number two, why would Eddie feel the reason to come over here and spill it? What was in it for him? And number three, why wouldn't Eddie be way more pissed off, or Marty be way more pissed off at Eddie than you guys?
So once the discussion, so I'm sharing. Marty asked me where I got the picture because Marty goes, "There's only two people that had that picture."
Who were the two people?
His brother and his wife.
How the fuck did Eddie Mansfield get it?
So I don't know, hence, I thought this was Marty's blessing, right? Right, Jimmy? That if you were in my spot, would you have thought this had Marty's blessing?
I've already stated, and as James confirmed, that it would be a safe assumption. It's a logical assumption.
So he was upset with Eddie. Here's my question, though. Okay, so if we're going to play the game that Eddie Mansfield wanted something out of it, why come to Monty and Farrell?
And what is it? What is the it that he wants from it?
Well,
James,
hold on. First of all,
you're the investigator.
Where else is Eddie Mansfield going to go? Conrad Thomas won't touch him. Jim Cornette and them won't touch him. I mean, Lee Cole is gone. I mean, where's he going to go? The English guy? He's got nowhere to go.
Why wouldn't he go to the English guy?
A lot of those guys don't want to deal with him. A lot of those wrestlers and those people don't want to deal with him because the first thing I would have told Eddie is, I think you're full of shit. And then he would have sent the picture and I'd have been like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like I said, these are questions I would love to ask Eddie. Eddie always comes off that the reason he's doing things is to help everybody else. He's going to help all the wrestlers get, you know what I think? I think he gets off on wanting to tell people, I told you so. If there was a union, if you guys would have done what I said to do years ago, if they were in SAG, if they were in this, if they were in that, I think he likes to say, I told you so. And I think he kind of threw Marty under the bus to make himself feel good about it. I think that's sick. That's what he does.
I'm going to give you my opinion, and maybe it's because me and Jimmy do the show together. He had a million other venues to go to. If he would have had this information, he could have went to Conrad. Conrad would have fucking put him on in a fucking second. Anybody would have. But here's my point. Number one, we're trustworthy, right? We don't fuck around with people. And number two, he knew, again, that if he wanted to get the word out there, again, I believe that he wanted to help Marty. I really do. I talked to him for about 45 minutes before we even decided to do a show. Unless Eddie wanted one last shot at being in the dirt sheets and being on the news, I don't see, and you've already said he's a producer. He wouldn't need this. He doesn't need this. Let me ask you this. Why, as human beings, can't we think that someone wants to do something good for somebody?
And every last thing he said was nothing but 100% defense of Marty, by the way. Right?
What's the question?
The question is why does someone have to be doing something for themselves all the time? Why couldn't he just cared about Marty and thought he was doing the right thing?
Well,
it might not have been the right thing in hindsight, But sometimes we all do that, right?
Listen, the first person that should have made a phone call was Eddie Mansfield to say, hey, listen, I'm going to go on these guys' show and let them know about your leg, my friend. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this. What if that picture got out, Marty overdosed, or put him into some sort of a depression, or it was something he didn't want? Let's say he had something coming up and the people that he was getting ready to do business with didn't realize he didn't have a leg anymore, and it cost him a job. Eddie needs to be a little bit smarter than that.
Well,
you know, and
I think that was Marty's worry, Jimmy and James. I do think he didn't want agents to know that there was a problem, right? Maybe he was going to do the Kerry Von Erich thing. Maybe he was going to strap the boot on.
And maybe it's just timing. Look, it just happened to the poor man.
Yep.
Right.
And now it's out already. Like, you know, and again, we didn't know, but my God, what he must be going through right now. I'm sure he was probably going. I don't think he was going to pull a Kerry Von Erich. I'm sure at some point very soon he was going to let everybody know. But that's not how it happened for him, and that's got to be painful. That's just my 2 cents, fellas.
No, that's and you know, Terry, I'm not. Your opinion is a good opinion. I stand to believe, you know, from knowing Eddie and talking to Eddie, that's not the case, but I can understand where you're coming from, James, Terry.
I don't dislike Eddie Mansfield. I think Eddie Mansfield is incredibly entertaining. The stories that he's told me off the air that I have on tape are insane. But, you know, you never know where Eddie Mansfield is coming from. I think he's a guy who never got over getting gotten over on 2020. And let me explain. I told you about this, Monty. That should have been the biggest story in wrestling. And nobody even remembers that Eddie Mansfield was on the 2020 show. They remember David Schultz slapping the piss out of John Stossel. You can't even tell me, and I've seen it since then, that Eddie Mansfield, I mean, that was it. But everybody's always screwing over Eddie Mansfield. Here's the deal. Eddie Mansfield's 5'7", 180 pounds. He never got over it. I believe, personally, he's a little jealous of a lot of people. Eddie Mansfield is in the same cloth as Marty Jannetty as far as size and looks. Marty Jannetty had a much better career. I think there's a little jealousy there. I think this was some Mean Girls Club behind-the-scenes bullshit, embarrassment bombshell. I really believe that. I think Eddie Mansfield, I think he did a disservice to him. I really do.
And you know what? I respect the comment, but I will also say this. This also is a problem, right? So, James, you're younger than me and Jimmy, but people don't realize that Eddie Mansfield was a big-time wrestler in California, like a serious draw. Again, people go, who the fuck is that? Just because you're fucking watching Cody Rhodes now, not you, but regular other fans, there's a history to pro wrestling. So we cannot understate how big Eddie Mansfield. Look, let me put it this way. We opened the show, we were talking about Dutch Mantel. I want you to weigh in. I'm going to ask Jimmy this. People who are angry at us for attacking James Romero and Dutch Mantel are calling Dutch Mantel a legend. I'm going to say on record right now that Dutch Mantel couldn't even shine Eddie Mansfield's boots. And I mean that. What do you think, Jimmy?
Well, you know, historically, not to bore anybody, but just historically, you know, the impact of each person's career. I hate to break it to folks, but Eddie Mansfield's impact because of what he did. I don't care if Schultz got more limelight afterwards. That's the Ian Entertainment that was foreshadowing right there. That's more sexy and more notable, but it doesn't change what Eddie Mansfield did. And it was the beginning of the lid being ripped off, and we know the lid is completely ripped off today. So historically speaking, Eddie Mansfield has had more impact on this business. Sorry. That's my take.
Terry, what do you think?
I don't disagree. The only reason Dutch Mantel gets a little bit of a soft spot in my heart over Eddie Mansfield is because he was a Vietnam War veteran. A lot of his career was cut short because he was in Vietnam. I don't know that he ever got over that. It's something he very rarely talks about. Not that that makes it better or worse or one bigger or another. I mean, Eddie Mansfield did not have as long of a career as in the sport because Dutch Mantel went on and worked behind the scenes. He came back as a manager. He stayed in the business a long time. But yeah, I would tend to agree that Eddie Mansfield was a bigger star of a wrestler. I don't know by how much more, but a lot of the career of Dutch Mantel was cut short because of Vietnam. So there's a little bit of a soft spot in my heart. But here's the thing. If you Google Marty Jannetty 2 weeks ago, what do you see?
Nothing.
Well, you see he was a wrestler, WWE.
Yeah, okay, all right, gotcha, right.
You see his career. Go ahead and Google Marty Jannetty now. All you get is a picture with him with a stump. Let me give you an example. Years ago, people thought that Walt Disney when he died, they froze him, right? We've all heard that.
Yes.
He was cryogenically frozen.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, Disney hated the fact that you could Google that and see that. So you know what they did? They made a movie called Frozen. When you Google Disney Frozen, you get the movie about the snowman and the two chicks. You don't they have totally wiped Walt Disney being frozen off of Google. You Google you Google Marty Jannetty right now, and what do you see? A guy in a wheelchair with a fucking plastic bag over his leg and a stump, which he didn't want coming out. And then you see Eddie Mansfield right in the middle of it, exposing again. I think it's a habit. I think it's a sickness. And I think Eddie Mansfield gets off on dropping that kind of stuff. He has a history of doing it. He did it to the business and he did it to his buddy. And so now you Google Marty Jannetty and that's the first fucking thing that pops up. That's sad. And the real terrible avenue is he used the weapon of your show to do it. This is the same as a guy getting drunk at a bar, borrowing his buddy's car and running over his buddy's mom. It's exactly what he did to Marty. He can say he's sorry all he wants. Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So I think that's pretty low.
Listen, Jimmy, what are your thoughts about Terry's comments there?
Well, you know what? Because we've been doing this for almost a decade now, and because we've seen all the different types of behaviors and personalities we've seen, part of me does agree with James on this. And this is not me judging anyone, but it's Eddie being Eddie. Plain and simple. And I don't even have any feelings when I say it, because Eddie Mansfield, look, if your life was the once upon a time you decided to become a pro wrestler and you became known and you were getting pretty good at it and you were getting some noteworthy stuff, and then you become really famous because you drop a bomb. Now you're really famous. This is going to do things to your head, I'm sure. Okay, Eddie became famous this way. So I guess I'm kind of parroting what James is saying somewhat. There's got to be some truth in it that this is Eddie being Eddie, and there's no judgment when I say it at all.
Well, listen. I'll say the last thing, then I want to move on to a little more in this, but on some other part of the subject. I know Marty Jannetty well as you do, Jimmy. We could actually, again, James, Terry, in case you don't know, we don't consider ourselves friends with any wrestlers, even though we talk to them often. We've broken bread with them. We understand the jungle that is pro wrestling, as you do, right? You're a private eye. You've been around, So we don't get sucked into that whole thing. But we do care for Marty Jannetty. He's been an important part of the show for fucking 8 years. He's been on so many times. We've talked to him privately. Eddie Mansfield, I have personally become close to in the last year, thanks to your introduction to him. I'm going to go on the higher side. And listen, what both of you guys are saying is intelligent, legitimate, human beings speaking with knowledge, not like this fucking punk from England who's a fucking jerk off that couldn't fucking come up with his own fucking thing. But anyway, I'm going to go with the point that I think that Eddie had in his right heart. But I'm going to ask you guys this.
I believe that.
What about this guy? Where's he in this mess? That's Michael. So yeah, go ahead. And then Terry,
I
you
play
weigh in
devil's
too.
advocate? Because I go back and forth with this. There's times where I'm completely pissed, like Sean should have done more, and then there's other times where is he the exhausted friend? I mean, we really don't know shit. We don't. They've known each other forever. Is he the exhausted friend who did try at times? Maybe not all the time. I mean, who tries all the time? You have to live your life too. But maybe he tried from time to time. Was just like, God damn it, I can't stick my neck out any further. Is it that? I don't know. I go back and forth with Sean. James, what do you say to all of
What
this?
do you want Shawn Michaels to do for Marty Jannetty?
Right at this point,
What do we expect him to do? I mean, call him privately. He probably found out right after your show that his leg was amputated. He probably didn't even know. And let's be perfectly honest, Shawn Michaels got a whole set of bullshit he's dealing with on a daily basis, I am sure. They broke up as the Rockers, 35 years ago?
long time ago.
Yeah.
35. I mean, I graduated high school 30 years ago. So let's say 35 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
He's had Hulk Hogan, I can argue, was a more successful tag team with Shawn Michaels than Marty Jannetty. I can argue that. So what I'm telling you is this, is that a lot of these guys, let me tell you a guy that I deal with off the air every once in a while, and it's like pulling a bulldozer up a hill, is Knobs and Sags. Knobs is rolling around right now with his foot rotting off his leg. He's been on our show half a dozen times. He's got a sore that won't heal. He's got all kind of issues. He's living in hotels. And everybody always asks me, well, why doesn't his tag team partner help him? Or Jimmy Hart. I've talked to Jimmy Hart and his tag team partner. They don't even want him to have his phone number. So you don't know where these things lie, and you don't know that they have responsibility with anything else. So I don't think that these guys owe each other anything. And there's documentaries and videos. Marty becomes his own worst enemy. Yeah, I mean, his tag team partner isn't bailing him out. You know what I mean? I mean, I know what you guys – I mean, listen, Pharaoh, if you went to work tomorrow at the Waffle House and asked the cook –
I don't work at the Waffle House.
You need your car insurance paid. Is the fry cook going to help you?
This is get out of here. I'm going to private investigate you. Go on.
The Waffle House thing is just a rumor?
Listen. So is the fake hair, James. Go on.
So here's the thing. I agree with you,
By the way,
James.
those sunglasses do not look like they're from the dollar. Why does the sunglasses look nicer than ours? They're not dollar store.
So
these are $2,700. I got them from a person. Well, actually, I'll tell you who I got them from. The old lady that lives next to Lee Cole at the retirement community. When his channel got shut down, she sent them to me. Thank you.
All right, so I'm at the Waffle House. Continue.
No, so what Terry's saying is, does the fry cook owe the fucking waiter to help them? Listen, no one owes anything to anybody.
Nobody owes
but you would think, James, that considering how much money the WWE draws, what Marty Jannetty has meant to the business, and you know what? Let's be honest. If it's not for Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels is never Shawn Michaels. Is that a fair statement?
Probably. And I remember Shawn Michaels in WCCW. I mean, I remember Shawn Michaels as a short. I mean, he looked like Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, I remember him as a job guy there. He's not the only one, though, guys. I mean, there's a million of these stories out there of these guys with these medical conditions and these injuries, and nobody is making that. Nobody made them wrestle. You know what I mean? I mean, it was their decision, and to do it for as long as he did, you know. And I understand that that's his only thing, but at some point, you know, you've got Mike Webster's a good example. He was a center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, played way too long. He was living in a car. I know his son. There was all kind of weird shit with him. He could have retired in 1977, 78.
Died at 50.
But he kept going because he didn't want to work at Denny's, or he didn't want to work at Home Depot. He didn't want to have 4 Super Bowl rings and work as a maintenance guy. So at some point, you know, Marty's got to have some blame as to what's going on here. These guys have these medical issues all the time, and it's part of it. You know, unfortunately, back then it was part of it. We don't see as much of it now.
Guys, listen, Mike, you said something earlier. I got to ask this though. Do you really think, though, with 1,000% absolution when you make the statement that Shawn never would have made it without Marty? I'm not so sure about that. I can't say that 1,000%. You really don't think that Shawn Michaels might have found his way to the door of Vince McMahon eventually?
I don't. I think that again, a lot of roads led to the AWA. Where all some of the most popular stars, as we already know, came from the AWA. If there is no Rockers, there's no Shawn Michaels. I mean, Listen, we've talked to
Well-
old school guys that said when these guys were going, Marty was the better wrestler by far.
Oh, I remember, but I still don't feel that Shawn. Look, eventually Shawn's talent was going to rise. I find it. I can't say with 1,000% that Shawn never would have made it with Vince McMahon without that path. That path was the correct path, obviously, but I could see Shawn still somehow finding his way to
What
stardom.
made Shawn Michaels was the barbershop, right? I mean, let's call it
Right.
like it is,
Yes.
right? I mean, that's
Yes.
what made it. So,
But
you know,
was
it's
also
probably in the
heel
top
turn
5
itself.
most
Shawn
biggest.
was always the tushy face before the heel turn. The heel turn could have been effectively done on someone else. That was the perfect thing to do. But the heel turn too, it was a different Shawn Michaels. Was it? It was the act itself that's important too, not just who he was kicking. That's me.
Jimmy, you know what? It's a great point, but I got to disagree with you. It's he kicked his longtime partner and threw him through a
history
window.
has proven that it was the correct path, obviously, but I still
Right.
feel like with 1,000% that he never would have been a star without that path. I can't say 1,000%. That's all I'm
Real
saying.
quick, as far as Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, let me just throw this in because you guys know more about this than I do. But was it Shawn Michaels also at his height when a lot of the WWE talent was at its lowest? Wasn't he the biggest fish in the little pond?
He was
He-
Vince was in the middle of his cartoon phase too. Like that has to be remembered. Shawn Michaels and some of Bret Hart's best work, and of course Diesel suffered from it too. It was cartoon land back then, James. But go
Yeah,
on.
so he fell into the right. I mean, Shawn Michaels would not have been able to do that in 1986. You know, in
No.
1985.
No,
You know,
no,
it's
he was also too small in 1986. 1986, Vince was serving big men. It's Hart and Michaels that changed that prototype.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, phenomenal talents. Marty Jannetty is not in the Hall of Fame, correct?
He is
Correct.
not. No.
Okay.
It's ridiculous, by the
Mark,
way.
let me ask you this. But do you guys have a problem with him not being in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, it's absurd.
So he should be in the
Listen,
Hall of Fame as an individual or as a tag team?
no, as a
Individual.
no, not as individual. No, I don't think so. As in the Rockers, yes.
Let me give you
that's
some
the
guys.
safe bet,
Let me
yeah.
give you some guys. Is the Rockers? Yes. I mean, Shawn Michaels and him are back together. Okay. Let me give you some guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame that blow him away.
Oh,
King
I'm
Kong
sure.
Bundy.
I'm
King Kong
sure.
Bundy.
Fair
King
enough.
Kong
It's
Bundy.
ridiculous. Yeah.
He main evented WrestleMania 2 over
Right.
Don Morocco. Don Morocco could have had that spot. He's not even close to being in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Correct.
I'll give you another guy. The Assassin, Jody Hamilton. You don't think Jody Hamilton belongs in there ahead of Marty Jannetty?
No.
Yeah, no.
No.
Sorry, I don't
No?
think so. No.
No, I do not. The
He was
first one,
he was such a
absolutely.
region. He was
Yeah.
he
Marty,
was
no.
such a regional guy, Terry. That
he's
yeah,
great,
I
but
wouldn't put him
not-
there. Yeah,
Not
but
the
he was
impact
so
of-
regional.
Not the impact of no.
I mean, he started in the 50s, so when he
Well,
was
who else
more
you got?
regional,
The first-
he
the
was
first-
there way back.
All right, let's see. So you're 1 for 2 right now.
The first one was excellent. That's a great point. The second one, I'll
Yeah.
go with Marty.
And I don't know all the guys that are in and out. I mean, Miss Elizabeth should be in there. I think she's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
Miss
you go back and
Elizabeth should be in there before
Yeah.
Marty, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
okay.
I
Well,
agree
let's.
with that.
I can name. I mean, what about China? There's another
Yeah, I
person
could-
that should be in the Hall of Fame.
as
It's
a-
Marty
yes.
TX.
Absolutely.
Of course, fame, yeah.
But
fame, yeah.
I tend to think that, I don't know what Shawn Michaels could have done for Marty Jannetty. I mean, let's say he found out about it and called him. What does he want? A pile of money? I mean, what do you gift a guy who just got his foot amputated?
Well, I'm talking before the amputation. Like, listen, money does buy power. Money does buy the best. I'm sure Marty went to the best surgeon he could go to. From what I understand, it was his good friend. The guy's a pretty respected surgeon, regardless what Hannibal says. Which is bullshit, by the way. A guy tries to help somebody, and then you got a podcaster trashing the surgeon. That being said, there's probably a boatload of guys that the WWE has that are probably 10 times a surgeon of this guy. And I'm not saying that they could have saved his foot. All I'm saying is at some point, don't we owe something? If you become James, if you were working with me and you became a millionaire and I ended up in the dumps, at what point do you say, if it wasn't for this guy, or does that just not happen in this world?
30 years from now?
Yeah.
Mike, if I can jump in real fast, when you say like if it wasn't for this guy, ... Marty Jannetty to the big conglomerate that's the WWE and used to be the WWF and WWF is not this guy. Hulk Hogan would be a name where I'd say, okay. So that's how they look at it. You realize it's a business to them. Of course, you've always realized that. They're not going to look at Marty Jannetty and go, we owe this guy. They're not. Hulk Hogan? Yeah. Andre the Giant? Yeah. Perhaps a guy like Dusty Rhodes. And you know what? They proved that in the end because despite Dusty always being Vince's enemy, who wound up running NXT for years.
All right, guys. Great conversation. The two of you, fantastic. I'm going to play a video. This was came about last week.
Hold on. Before you do that, you brought up a real good point. Let me end it with this. You asked me if, years from now, I'm a millionaire, we work together. What would happen if something like this happened to you?
The wireless customer you are calling is not available. Please try again later.
Yeah, you know what, James? I believe it. I believe that's what you would do to me. So it's okay. 100%. All right, listen. There's a video that went viral a couple weeks ago. Jimmy, you and I played it about 2 weeks ago. I'm going to play it. I want you guys to weigh in. It's Ray Apollo, the third Doink, I think, who, by the way, is the only Doink I think that ever appeared in a WrestleMania.
Third. He's like the sixth, isn't he?
No. I think it's
James was
he
Doink.
is this. I like Ray Apollo. I've talked to him off the air. I know about
Ray's
his
cool.
wood shop behind his house. He's the sixth or seventh.
Okay, he's the only Doink to ever appear in a WrestleMania, right?
No, he's about the fifth one.
Okay.
Anyway, hold on. Let's do
there's
this.
only one King.
Let me play the video.
Matt Bourne.
You want to go through the list? It's Matt Bourne, Steve Kern.
Steve Kern and Matt Bourne were in WrestleMania together. They were in the ring at the same time.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. That's right.
Then there was a shitload of midget Doinks. You're going to count those as a half?
No, you don't count that. But after that, it was
John Sawyer.
No, John Sawyer. I think it was Ray Apollo, but it might have been.
Well, what about the Brooklyn Brawler?
Well, that's okay. I'm playing the video. You guys got to weigh in on this. Okay, you're rolling right into it.
Hey, wrestling fans, it's been brought to my attention there's another guy running around trying to be me. Well, it doesn't work. Often imitated, never duplicated. There's only one, the one and only, Doink the Clown. Now, as far as the wrestling business, some of us had to work to get where we are, and some of us got there other ways. And Lombardi, I know you had a friend in the office. His name was Mr. Patterson. He helped you along a lot of ways.
So Ray Apollo throwing down the gauntlet. What's the start of this is Ray Apollo for years has been traveling to signings. He did our podcast twice as Doink, and he considered himself the second Doink to Matt Bourne. Brooklyn Brawler has now changed his gimmick from Brooklyn Brawler, now has become Doink again. So there's a fight as they're both out on the autograph market. So I want to start with Farrow on that. Does Ray Apollo have a gripe? And we had the Brooklyn Brawler on the show. Do you think he fucked Pat Patterson?
You're asking me that again?
Yes, I am.
I don't give a shit. Do I think that there was funny stuff going on? Apparently, there was a lot of funny stuff going on. As far as him and the other guy, I don't want to know. I don't give a shit. I don't understand, and maybe James can answer this when he gives his side of what he thinks about all of this. I don't understand why the Brooklyn Brawler would ever want to make an appearance as anything other than the Brooklyn Brawler. It doesn't fucking add up to me in dollars and cents. And I've never thought of him as the Clown. So if he's doing it just to piss off Ray, apparently it's worked. James, what say you?
First of all, if I got $5 to spend on an autograph and the Brooklyn Brawler is over here and Doink is over here, I'm going to Doink. That gimmick is tired. It's weak. You're going to go to Doink because a lot of people don't know the lineages of the Doink. Steve Kern actually worked for me at one point in Tampa, Florida. He had a wrestling school down there. He was a Doink. I actually hired him as Doink the Clown. And him and Jimmy Del Rey came together, and they actually wrestled at the halftime of a high school all-star game. That's over on JimTerryTV.com. He actually wrestled against Tatanka. I actually put that together in front of over 3,500 people. So I booked Doinks before. And let me tell you something. I heard an interesting story one time. The Doinks were going around. Matt Bourne was in ECW, and And Vince called one of those companies and said, which doink is he? Because that's still a copywritten, owned trademark of WWE. So Ray Apollo or any of these guys could run around with makeup on or green hair. They don't own the name. They can make a new doink tomorrow. But I tend to believe the reason that Lombardi is doing what he's doing is because the clown, because of Dark Side of the Ring, the toys and all that. When was the last time you saw anybody give a shit about the Brooklyn Brawler? But Doink the Clown seems to kind of bring a smile to wrestling fans' faces. Now, are you asking me if I believe Lombardi sucked his cock? Are you asking that?
I am, sure.
Oh, 100%. Definitely. Definitely. Sideways, up, down. Well, I believe he went as far as a Blumpkin. That's what I heard.
What the fuck?
That's what I heard. That's what Eddie Mansfield told me.
It's getting harder and harder to watch that alley fight between Patterson and Slaughter, Mike.
Listen, if that's the way they roll, that's the way they roll. What are you going to do?
You guys ever want a good story from Eddie Mansfield? Ask him what he caught Sergeant Slaughter doing in Louisville.
No. What? No. Did it involve G.I. Joe dolls, James?
Farrow, you got to check this out. Terry came with some news also. Fill us in. Coming off the great Hulk Hogan documentary, which I loved. Jimmy, you didn't get a chance to watch it yet, right?
Of course not.
There's a scene in there where he talks about his brother, who was like a biker,
Alan.
and he used to travel to and anytime Hogan was in California, this guy would show up. And at some point, he went to Hogan and said, "Hey, I need some money." And Hogan could have brought him back to his house or whatever the fuck it was. The guy ends up ODing. Hogan in the documentary talks about his family. His father didn't show him love and blah, blah, blah. A sad story. But there's more to the story. So, Terry, go ahead, man. Talk to us about
years ago,
Hulk
I met
Hogan.
in Los Angeles at a wrestling reunion. I was out there with a friend of mine, and we went to the matches to meet Kevin Von Erich, who was my favorite wrestler. And I got to meet Kevin Von Erich. It was about 2009, 2010, and I met Kevin Sullivan there. And I met Kevin Sullivan, and I met Lanny Poffo. And Lanny Poffo worked at a car dealership down the street from my house named CarMax in Largo, Florida. And he knew I was looking into getting a PI stuff. I had not been a PI yet. I was interested in 3 cases. I was interested in the disappearance of Jake the Snake Roberts' sister, which later became on Dark Side of the Ring. That was the first episode I ever worked on. And I was interested in Gino Hernandez's death. The other thing that they told me about is, we got a story for you, Hulk Hogan's brother. So I always knew that there was an Alan Balea. For years I've dug into the story. Not for anybody in particular, but a family member of the Baleas contacted me recently with the Netflix documentary. They had heard through another wrestler that I had, just for shits and giggles, looked into Alan Balea, which is an older brother of Hulk Hogan. He is 2 years older than the Hulk. He also was born in Panama. So in my research, what I found is not in the documentary, and most of the family did not even know. In fact, in the last couple of weeks, I've spoke with everybody from Eric Bischoff to Brooke Hogan, and many of them did not know this. But Alan was not the oldest brother. Hulk had another brother. There were 3 brothers. Hulk had an older brother named Alan. Hulk's mother was married to another guy in the country of Panama. When the canal was being built, she lived down there. Hulk Hogan's mom was an exotic dancer and a model and an extremely good-looking woman when she was young. On the left, our left, is Alan Balea. That is Hulk's older brother. And, of course, Hulk is on the right. So I started looking into the family. Alan Balea is interned. He is buried in what looks like a TV-sized crypt in Los Angeles at Forest Lawn Memorial Cemetery. He's buried in there with another man. There is another person named Molat that is buried in that. And if you look up the name Alan Balea grave, you will see that his crypt, there's 2 guys on there. And the other guy is only 3 years older than him. And you're like, well, who the fuck is that guy? So what I did was I took all Kevin Sullivan's information, all Annie Poffo's information, my own curiosity, and when Hulk told this on Netflix, I put it all together and did a deep dive. Alan Bolea's story that Hulk Hogan gives is 100% bullshit. The only thing that's true about it is the fact that he overdosed. And he didn't overdose in Oakland. He overdosed in a hotel in Los Angeles. So here's what I did. And if you can find Alan Bolea's crypt, if you can find and it's on Google where it shows him, it would help as a visual. What I did was I looked up the man that was in the crypt with Alan Bolea. His name is Molat. I found out that he had family that was still alive. I contacted his family. When I contacted his family said, okay, we'll talk to you. We're pissed off about the documentary. Here's the deal. Hulk Hogan was born last. Alan was born 2 years ahead of him. 13 years before Hulk Hogan was born and 11 years before Alan was born, there was a brother named Kenny that was born. Hulk Hogan's mom was married to a different guy in Panama before she married Hulk Hogan's dad and Alan's dad. She had a son. That son's name was Kenny Wheeler. Kenny Wheeler is 13 years older than Hulk Hogan. So let me pull the curtain back even more. So Hulk Hogan's mom was living in Panama. She married a guy, had a kid. At age 11, she divorced that kid's father. She then hooked up with Hulk Hogan's dad, name is Pete. We'll call him Pete. She had 2 boys with him, one in Panama named Alan, then moved to Georgia and had Hulk Hogan. Okay? What is not shown in that picture is that Hulk Hogan's mother had a child before Pete and her had the 2 boys. His name is Kenny Wheeler. So now I'm contacting the Wheeler family, and I found out the man that was interned that is in the same crypt as Hulk Hogan's brother is his father-in-law. Alan Bolea was married 4 times. He has almost half a dozen children. There are cousins that Brooke and Nick never even met, don't even know about. I got them on the phone. I spoke with all of them. Some of them on that side knew of Kenny. If you look up and Google the name Kenny Wheeler, you will see that Hulk Hogan's oldest brother only died 5 weeks ago. He was the colonel and the head of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. The reason Hulk Hogan's mother did not have a funeral in 2010 is the 2 brothers fought about it. The 2 brothers being Terry Bollea and Kenny Wheeler. If you Google Kenny Wheeler, Dayton, Ohio's obituary, you will read in the obituary that he had 5 brothers. 2 of them were Alan and Terry, but they do not list Terry and Alan's last name as Bollea. If you look at Hulk Hogan's obituary, Kenny is not listed as a surviving sibling at all. It's very easy to Google. It took me down the road of a lot of people. Now, Alan also has a son that many of you would know named Horace Hogan. He was a wrestler. He was in WCW. His real name is Michael. Michael has a younger brother that Alan had with another woman. Like I said, he was married, I think, 4 different times. Alan's youngest son that was born right before he died was a guy named Nick Bolea. David Bolea. Excuse me. David Bolea is Alan's youngest son. He is a champion cage fighter in Las Vegas, and he has got a wrestling podcast. So I put all these people together, and I started contacting people in the Bolea family and asking them about this story. Not only that, Alan Bolea was never the head of the Hells Angels in any city at any time. He was a biker, but it's total bullshit. He owned a carpet cleaning company before he died. The reason he overdosed is he was doing drugs in a hotel in Los Angeles because his most recent wife, the one whose father-in-law, his wife's dad, is interned with him, she kicked him out. He met Hulk, got some money, and overdosed in a hotel room. He wasn't thrown in a garbage can. It wasn't bikers. It wasn't a Hells Angels thing. The guy overdosed because of depression. Here's where it really gets weird. I spoke with a guy named Brian Blair who told me he was there when Hulk's brother died. He totally lied to me. It was bullshit. He was not there when Hulk's brother died because Hulk's brother did not die in Oakland. He died in Los Angeles in a hotel. So then what I did was I started making a couple of more phone calls. And I found out that Hulk and Kenny did not really see eye to eye. They did not like each other. But Hulk and Kenny Wheeler shared the same mom. Now, just to give everybody an example as to how high up the chain Kenny Wheeler is in the military, he was the head of the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for decades. The Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, is where they believe the aliens for Roswell were held. So Kenny Wheeler, Hulk Hogan's oldest half-brother, was an extremely important military war hero and a college graduate of Virginia Tech. So if you Google him, the story is absolutely insane. So there's Kenny Wheeler. Hulk Hogan's mom gets divorced, has Alan with Pete, then moves to Georgia and has Terry. And over the years, Kenny would visit his mother while Hulk was a baby and while Alan was younger. Alan dies. Hogan never makes mention of his oldest brother again. That side of the family is very affluent, has a lot of money. Alan's family does not. So the story that Kevin Sullivan was giving me the breadcrumbs on is fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. But I think that's now when Alan died, Hogan did not help with the funeral. He did nothing for his brother, which is why Alan, his father-in-law, while he was separated, paid for his funeral, paid for his crypt. And Hogan abandoned him. Totally abandoned his dead brother.
James, who do you think had control of the narrative of the Netflix documentary, and why would they even report any of this stuff anyway in the documentary itself?
Well, they asked Hogan about his brother. He's been asked about his brother a million times. They never brought up the other brother. First of all, many of them didn't know. I think Sky Hogan, Hogan's last wife, and Nick and Eric Bischoff were 100% behind that documentary. Let me get my charger.
Interesting.
Give me a second here. Let me plug this in. I'm going to lose you guys. Give me a second.
Yes, sir. Mike, I don't even know what to do with half of that. I mean, it's just a whole lot of
it's a very interesting story.
I can see it happening, you know. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Siblings don't get along, and she obviously had a fractured history with multiple kids, with multiple husbands and stuff, and most of the time that's not going to work out well anyway. You know, just with everyday people, much less money, fame, and the other side is now. How come the other side? It sounds like he was very successful militarily. The other brother, what? He's poor. I'm not seeing that.
I don't. I'll bring Terry back in here.
Yeah. Interesting. It's fascinating.
The other brother. Again, I had no idea that existed.
I sent you pictures of the other brother.
Yeah, you did. I can't find him. I don't know.
Just Google Kenny Wheeler.
I am, but it's not coming up. Some fucking guy playing a trumpet is coming up.
James, just to make sure I understood all of this. This McGott fella is a father-in-law that's in the crypt?
Alan Bolea, Hulk Hogan's brother Alan.
I'm stuck on the name McGott, or whatever you said. You said there was another name, McGott, above.
Molat.
Moko, yeah. And that person is?
His father-in-law.
Right, correct. This is weird, man. There's a lot of weird shit going on here.
Let me show you. I'll make this make sense real quick because it gets very confusing. So
I got the gist. I do get the gist.
Well, so here's what it is. Alan is with his most recent wife, okay?
Right.
They have a son named David. David is a cage fighter in Las Vegas. He's got a podcast. His name is King David. Okay. They have a son. The kid is 1 year old. He's got the drug issues. She kicks him out. Her and her father kick out Alan Bolea. He goes and seeks Hulk, gets some money, overdoses in a hotel. They also financially backing him in his carpet cleaning company. Alan Bolea wasn't a Hell's Angel. He owned a carpet cleaning company. When he died, Hulk turned his back on it. The only person that could afford a crypt or that would dare bury him was the father of the woman he was now just separated from. And then they eventually put. So here is Alan Bolea. Here's his obituary. Let me bring this up.
And there's another brother that's military, right, James?
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is
Okay.
now, since I've dug into this and gone public with this, on his Find a Grave, more pictures have come up, and now Kenny Wheeler is listed on his Find a Grave. This is insane. Let me see if I can bring this up here, guys. By the way, you guys haven't touched on the fact that they found Heidenreich.
I was going to bring that up. They found Heidenreich. Remember Heidenreich?
Sure.
So they found him in a picture, and now he's actually going to be on a podcast.
In a Walmart.
Yeah, in a Walmart. Yeah, he was working in a Walmart or something.
Heidenreich. All right.
Remember Heidenreich?
Yeah, I remember the Road Warrior thing I never wanted to see. I remember that.
By the way, WWE put out that Road Warrior documentary. I was thinking about Animal Man. That guy was a good guy, man. That guy was as nice a guy as
he was
gets.
a good guy. Mike, I don't know if you're aware. I wonder if I was seeing things, but apparently Joe's wife is not very happy about this documentary.
She was actually on Busted Open, Jimmy, Kim Laurinaitis, and she was bitching. But the reality of it is the documentary is about the wrestling years, not about his last years. And speaking of Kim Laurinaitis, you remember Marty Jannetty is the one that claimed that he got Joe Laurinaitis and Kim together.
Mm.
If you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
I could actually cut that clip and put it on there.
Yeah. No,
listen, you know what? I will say
she's
this.
very upset, though. I mean, she's got to have her reasons, but
well, because she's not part of the documentary. The first and second wife is.
Shouldn't she be, though? Shouldn't at all, or no? Or at least talk to, or something, or
she was not part of his wrestling years, though. You know what I mean?
Well,
she wasn't there.
Yeah, but Mike, I want to play devil's advocate. You love the background stuff as well as the wrestling stuff, you know, and she certainly could have talked to them about that sort of thing. She lived with him for a long time. Look, he was a very happily married man, and he was a very happy guy. He was a really good guy. He was
a good-hearted guy for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I brought it up in the back. It's ready if you want to bring it up. I've got the Find the Grave.
I got it. I'm going to pop it up.
So this is really interesting. Now, this did not look like this about a month or two ago. So there is Alan Peter Bolea, and you can see now, since I've gone public with all this stuff, that Kenny Wheeler. So there is the guy. That's the picture they normally saw. He died almost 40 years ago to the day. Alan Peter Bolea of an overdose. He's got Horace Hogan is his son. David Bolea is his other son, and then he's also got, I believe, 3 daughters. But what can I
ask you this real quick, Jim? Not to cut you off. When you did speak to Horace Hogan, did he openly admit to you that he knew that there was a third brother and he had met him?
He had no idea. He had no idea, and he referred me to his oldest sister. Now, his mom was also murdered when he was only like 4 or 5 years old. So there's a lot of really bad things that go on in Alan's life. But no, he said, this is incredible. Nobody's ever called me to look into my father. He's 60 years old now. He's in the medical field. He does not have anything really to do with wrestling anymore. I don't even know that he was at his uncle's funeral. But what I can tell you is I gave him more information on his father than he had ever had before. So if you look here, down here, you will see that it is now listed. Kenny Ray, the Colonel Poppy Wheeler, is the half sibling of both of them. This was not on here. So you can see that Vernice, Ruth Moody Wheeler Bolea, is Hulk's mother. So you can kind of see that now they're putting it all together. And if you hit this up, you will see that it brings up the grave. And it's in like a little crypt right there. And if you look, there's 2 guys' names on it, and that is Molat. That is where I got that name from. And that's the people that I called about his brother that eventually told me everything. So it's a little convoluted. It's a little unique. But Hulk Hogan had an older brother most of the family did not even know about. And the reason that nobody knew about him is there was never a funeral in the family. Hogan's mom did not have a funeral. Hulk's dad did not have a funeral. Hulk's brother did not have a funeral. But the interesting thing was,
Can you bring up the brother? Can you bring up the Colonel? Or is it too late? You pulled it off.
yeah,
already?
no, I could bring him up. Kenny Wheeler.
So let me ask you this: the scandal behind this, basically, though, is that there's a half brother that was out there that no one even knew about, and they didn't really know about the other brother either until he tells really the story, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
the other brother had been mentioned before. Everybody had heard about him, but Kenny R. Wheeler, he died recently. It was about 5-6 weeks ago. And when I talked to Brooke and when I talked to Bischoff didn't even know that this guy existed. They were quite shocked. A lot of people don't like to talk about Hulk's brother, and they definitely didn't want to talk about this brother. Here is Kenny R. Wheeler. Here he is. Go ahead and bring it up.
Bring it up. Just give me a second here.
And he looks just like Alan. He looks a lot like Alan. He looks like Hulk with hair. So here's the proof, too, just so people don't think I'm totally full of shit. He died April 9th, 2026. But if you read the obituary, here's where it gets interesting. It says right here, he is preceded in death by his wife, Susan, survived by his children and his daughters. It lists right here that, let me see. He was preceded in death by his parents and his siblings, Bobby, Alan, Ray, and Terry. Don't forget, Kenny had brothers or siblings when Hulk's mom and his dad divorced. His dad went on to have other children. Those are not siblings of the Hulk. Only he is. And you can see right here, it's listed, Alan and Terry. Terry is the youngest boy. The family, so they never put Hogan's last name in there. So now I contacted the Wheeler family. And the ones that told me about Kenny Wheeler was the guy that his family that was buried with Hulk's other brother. They go, Hulk still has a brother that's alive. And I says, bullshit. And he had died maybe a week before. So this is Hulk Hogan's oldest brother that nobody knew about. So here's the part where it gets really strange. When I was interviewing Kenny's daughter, I interviewed Kenny Wheeler's daughter, which technically would have been the Hulk's niece. It would have been Nick and Brooke's cousin, first cousin. She and them hated Hulk Hogan. Hated him. The whole family hated him. They didn't even want to put him in the obituary, but the other family members thought it necessary. They have never met Brooke. They have never met Nick. And they said that their father, Kenny, and Terry, the Hulk, got into a fight around 2009 over Hulk's mother's passing. She was getting ready to pass away. Kenny wanted a funeral. Terry did not. And that created a fight between the two brothers. But here's where it gets really weird. Kenny Wheeler, being the head of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, what do you think people asked him about more so than Hulk? Aliens. This guy knows and knew the key and the secret to all the military UFO stuff that's all out there right now. In fact, his relatives even asked him about it in his retirement, and he would not talk about it. He was asked by several of his children if there's aliens, and he would not talk to his own children about it. So the point being here is all the brothers, Hulk, Alan, and Kenny, all made it to the top of their professions. Hulk is a wrestler. Kenny is a military colonel. And Alan was a nationally ranked world champion arm wrestler. So all brothers were very successful. Two had drug problems.
Very interesting, dude. Very interesting. All right. That's some good shit, Terry. You always bring on the heat. Great job. Real quick question before you go, Jim Terry, and I want you to be 100% honest. What do you think about this dude's podcast? And be honest with me.
Listen, and what is his name again?
James Romero.
I've seen him there. It's a blueprint that a lot of them use. He's better as a host than some of the guys that are out there that do it. He's a little bit more polished. Listen, he's a limey cocksucker. There's no doubt about it. The
Can always
bad
count on
news-
Terry.
Listen, I don't dislike Dutch Mantel. Dutch Mantel's got a lot of stories. He was in the dirt and the nitty gritty of a lot of it. But
Great podcaster. He's a great podcaster. You can't take that away from him.
But as far as the guy's show, listen, I like your guys' show. I like the people that you have on. Dutch Mantel almost died, didn't he? I thought Dutch Mantel almost died like 3 or 4 times a year ago.
In fact, I think he might have.
Yeah. As far as variety, nobody beats this show. You guys have the most eclectic group. You get people that nobody else gets. I am not interested anymore in hearing about how many beers Andre the Giant can drink. I don't give a fuck about half of the stories that are recycled over and over and over again. Let me tell you a real quick thing just in it. A couple of days ago, I came upon a podcast of a fella I think you guys know. His name is Rip. Is it Rip Oliver?
Rip Rogers.
Rip Rogers. And I watched his podcast, and he had Don Morocco on. And horrible. I mean, Don Morocco was horrible. And there's just guys that you can't get something out of. Now, I think Don Morocco would be a hell of a lot more interesting over here than he was over there. I think the guy that does the podcast with RVD is probably the worst that I've seen as far as somebody who's actually piggybacked with a wrestler. I mean, he's never even asked Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam was in a movie with Steven Seagal. Nobody will talk to him about that. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Rob
that's
Van
right.
Dam. I've been trying to get a movie poster that says Van Dam Seagal. There's a movie poster out there. Nobody has ever asked Van Dam about this question.
Can I give you some trivia? That was another thing that they should have asked about.
What's that?
Do you remember Beyond the Mat, right?
Sure.
So do you remember the scene between Terry Funk and Jimmy? Do you remember the other guy's name?
Yeah. No, I don't, but I remember the scene, though, vividly.
Remember he's talking and the guy goes, I'm not booked. He's
booked.
like, you're coming to the show. I'm not booked. I can
Yeah.
look it up real quick. Hold on. I'm not booked.
It's a great scene. It really is. Hey, he gets him on the card, doesn't
I'll
he,
be
Mike?
quick. I'll be quick about it. Yeah, it gets him on the card. Hold on a second.
Yeah, he wasn't showing up unless he was working. He wasn't just going to go there and sit in the...
He's like, hey, I can't do it. I'm not booked.
What is your guys' beef with the guy from England?
Here's my beef. All right. I mean, it's like killing a dead horse because I did about 20 minutes with it with Jimmy, but
I could sum it up in a couple of sentences.
sum it
if
up,
you want.
Jimmy. Sum it up, buddy.
Well, pretty much, he's always pretended that he doesn't know who we are, yet he subscribes to us, and he stands on a mountaintop and he judges us and our direction of programming that you were just praising, James. And then he goes out and does with the same sort of debonair English arrogance that, much worse than we ever do. So he's very hypocritical and he's very full of himself. And he's a turd.
And it's not just about us. He acts like he doesn't watch any podcast.
Right.
It's like, I don't know who these guys are. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the I not booked thing, guys, right? So he tells Funk, I'm not booked. And then later on, he goes like this. Dory Funk Jr. was on that card too. And Dory Funk was wrestling a guy. And he says, I could have had a better match with Dory Funk. Do you know who the guy that was wrestling Dory Funk that day at Beyond the Mat?
Who?
Rob Van Dam.
Wow.
So this guy's like, I could have had a better match with Dory Funk.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
right.
it ends up being Rob Van
RVD.
Dam, right?
You know what? It's funny you should mention. I'm going to give you one more. You know the movie No Holds Barred?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you aware that
Smell
Buff
dookie.
Bagwell's in that movie?
I am Buff Bagwell, really? No, I am
Well,
not.
listen, okay, Buff Bagwell is an extra in the movie as like a 12-year-old kid. It's fucking insane. Buff Bagwell is in a
Top
scene.
hat?
I'm sorry?
Wearing the top hat?
No, he looks like
Oh,
a
man.
13-year-old kid. You guys did not know that?
I did not know that. No, I did not.
Buff Bagwell, No Holds Barred. He finally talks about it. He's actually uncredited, but is in the IMDb. So let me. I've got the picture right here. This is insane. So there is a shot where Hulk Hogan, wins the big match or whatever in the movie No Holds Barred, which, by the way, was terrible. How that movie made $25 million, I have
Mike's
no
favorite movie.
I love that movie, dude. I'm sorry. I'm a big fan of it.
Tiny Zeus Lister holds the shot put record where I played college football at. He's only about 6 foot. So here is the picture. So here is, go ahead and if you want to bring it up. There is Hulk Hogan in the middle, okay? He's got a black kid on one side, a white kid. Right there in the back, that's Buff Bagwell at about age 12 to 13.
Crazy, man.
Buff Bagwell was in that movie with Terry Bollea. So I thought that with Hulk Hogan, but I'm working on some pretty big stuff, guys. And when I finally have the okay, I want to come back here and break it. I love what you guys do. I love the people. I like the fact that you guys get into WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, which was my personal favorite growing up. I loved the Von Erichs. And guys, let me put this last thing to you. And I know you guys want to move on to something else. Would people stop saying there's only one Von Erich left? There are two. Okay? There are two. Lance Von Erich, whether you want to believe it or not, was a Von Erich as much as any of the other ones were. Now, he wasn't an Atkinson, but he was a fucking Von Erich. And they were this close to Billy Jack Haynes being a Von Erich, which I don't think would have worked. But Lance Von Erich, guys, technically, in my book, is, and it's one of those things in wrestling. Let me give you another one. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, had title defenses. He should be listed as a world champion.
So if you go back into the library of Monty and the Pharaoh, we discussed that Friday night's main event, which was one of the largest watched shows in the history of television at some point. I think, Jimmy, it actually beat a Super Bowl, I think, as far as numbers go at that point.
Yeah,
when DiBiase buys the belt, the next night, DiBiase defends the belt. You are right. DiBiase should be named as a world champion. We're in agreement with you. We actually put a petition out there, and then DiBiase ran with a while. But but back to the podcasting thing. There's some real shit out there, dude. There's no originality. There's nothing. It's just awful.
What I don't understand, guys, and explain this to me, is I don't understand why Rob Van Dam or some of these guys sit up there 2 to 3 times a week in front of 9 people. And, you can hear babies screaming in the background. There's, people are smoking dope. It's just, and maybe that's their thing. I mean, that's up to them. But I don't understand what's in it for the wrestler. I don't understand.
I'll tell you what happens around at this point, and we can dive deeper, but these are facts. But like, for example, we have a good friend of the show. He was the first guy that had Don Morocco. The kid from England is the guy was working with Morocco, and the idea was to get sponsors, right? And this was early on before anybody was doing this. The kid from England, and this is a story, came in and offered Morocco like $400 or $500 a month to do.
That's it.
That's at that time. That was
a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
You talked about Morocco.
In the early days.
Look, we're all huge fans of Morocco, and he's probably one of the best mic men forever. But Jimmy and I are in agreement with you. He's not a good interview. But on the other hand, like if we would interview him, one of my first questions, or Jimmy's first questions, I think would be like, what was it like to fucking do the video for Pile Driver, right? No one asked him this fucking question. You know what I mean? How much juice did you take, dude? Like he was bigger than Hogan. You know what I mean? As far as like muscle size. But anyway, the point is the kid from England takes Morocco, does not do well. Him and Morocco part ways. Couldn't make money. And then he gets his forks into Dutchman. Then he tries shoot interviews, which don't do that well. When I mean don't do well, the kid has a large following. Look, if you begin your YouTube channel in 1995 or whenever it first came out, you're going to have 100,000 subscribers at this point. If you don't, you're fucked up. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's either buy them like Lee Cole or you're going to have them after all that time, right? My point is somehow he found Dutch Mantel. I say it all the time. I would have never picked Dutch Mantel to be my guy. I would have went after like the $1 Million Man. But you know what? The $1 Million Man doesn't have it, right? You see it. Rob Van Dam, I've spoke to privately. He told me he just likes to have fun. He doesn't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather have fun in front of 500 or 600? I'm going to tell you whose I do enjoy. I enjoy watching anything that Arn Anderson is on. I enjoy Arn Anderson's conversations. on some of these shows. You know, he is not an easy guy to get going, but when you can, he gives a lot of good stuff. I don't think people realize how important what you guys do is. And I told Conrad this too, because I've done some work for Conrad behind the scenes. He wants me to find belts for him and stuff. And I was able to track down a U.S. championship belt for him. But here's the thing. These guys don't last very long. They're not going to be around forever. There are so many guys that you have put on here that nobody would have ever. Eric Embry. I mean, some of these WCCW guys that you've interviewed, nobody's looking for them. You know what I mean? And the fact that you now have archived at least that piece of history on here is incredible. That's why I hate seeing the same guys over and over and over again. So what you do is incredibly important. That's why I want to hear from Lance Von Erich. I want to see Lance and Kevin on a show once. Somebody do that. That's huge. Nobody's doing that. I would like to see some. I'll tell you another guy, Jesse Bulldog Barr. I would have loved for people to interview him. He won't do it. I'm going to tell you another guy who I tried to get on a show, and I don't try to get wrestlers. I don't have a wrestling podcast that has got stories like you couldn't believe, is Kendall Windham. I spoke with Kendall Windham, Barry Windham's brother. He's got a lot of businesses. He's involved in motocross now. He's got a wedding chapel. I don't know how many people know this. I spoke to him about a month ago, and I was trying to get him to come on and do a thing with me. He's another guy that nobody goes after or tries to get. Now, these aren't mainstream names, but these are guys who have stories that would bring mainstream guys back to talk about the stories that they bring up, just like Eddie Mansfield. So there's guys out there. Gator Wolf is another guy who I believe is Buck Zumhoff is another guy that nobody's ever really done good shooting.
This close. We were this close to Zumhoff. My job cost me that interview, or cost us this interview. So
what do you mean your job cost you that interview? What do you mean?
So I reached out to the jail where Buck Zumhoff is at. I got in touch.
Minnesota, I believe.
Right. I got in touch with his caseworker. His caseworker said he would give Buck his information. And, you know, that from that point, he's washing his hand of it. I asked him, is there any issue with him doing interviews and all that? He's like, nope. If Buck wants to do it, he has some free time, he's allowed to do it. He didn't call him Buck. He called him something else. But anyway, he goes, expect a call. Day goes by. Again, I for some reason, I was at work. I wasn't carrying my cell phone. I was sitting in my office. I get back to my office. There's a collect call from the jail. And I'm like, fuck me. So then I called the caseworker back and he goes, listen, dude, I'm not this dude's agent. You know, I gave him your connection. That's it. I can't go any further. And I was like, I just fucked this whole thing up because I could have gotten Buck Zumhoff on the show. Now, again, people probably would have been angry and they would have been, yeah, how dare you put this guy on? But wouldn't you want to know? Look, the guy was a psycho, obviously, and he was fucked up and he's a pedophile. But you know what? Wouldn't you want to hear the guy talk and tell his story?
Well, here's the thing. You're archiving it. You're never – I mean, people interviewed Jeffrey Dahmer. How many interviews are there with Charles Manson? Whether they're wrestlers or not, you could get them. And that is what is so incredibly important about what you guys are doing here. I knew there was another Doink. The only reason I even knew Ray Apollo existed is because of this show. And now I've actually find myself Googling matches, trying to figure out which one is him. By the way, he's the longest running Doink. I will give him that. You know, but, you know, there's guys like that out there that you've done. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, but it is so fucking important to get those guys on the show and not the same guys recycled over and over and over again, because there are so many of them that are gone now that I wish for 5 minutes, you know, we could get a shoot interview from that would give these stories. You know what I mean?
Some of our favorite interviews, James. I mean, here, Jimmy, here's one right off the top of your head. You probably forgot about it. We interviewed Nancy Benoit's first husband. Jim. It was an hour-long interview. It was just so fucking cool. Sometimes just talking to people who are with them for that time, it's like,
how about his son? What about the son of Chris Benoit that's a wrestler? Why don't anybody put him on?
Yeah,
Chris
that's a
Benoit
good question.
Jr., right?
I think it's been on some. I'm not
Mike,
sure.
didn't we have Bourne's wife not that long ago?
Yeah, we just had Matt Bourne's wife not too long ago.
She was excellent.
She reached out, asked to come on, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys.
there is one other person, and this, listen, Pharaoh, and I've talked to Pharaoh, this woman, I've talked to her about Pharaoh and about Monty, and I'll let you go with this. This woman is a huge fan of both of yours.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I am ready to hit the remove button. I'm waiting for something crazy to come out.
No, not at all. And I talked with this lady. She knows the show. She's watched it when I've been on. She is a huge mark for Pharaoh. She believes he is incredible.
James,
it's coming. I'm right on the remove button. This was going so good, Jimmy.
This is not the time and not the week, but go ahead, James.
And I'm talking, of course, about Missy Beefcake. She is into Pharaoh that it is unbelievable.
Don't start that nonsense. What are you talking about?
Listen, I talked to her one time. She was in the hot tub with Brutus, and I caught her on the phone, and I could hear your show in the background, and she was just on repeat, listening to you drone on and on about Doink the Clown. I mean, she's into you, Pharaoh. I mean, here's a woman. She's into other chicks. She's from Massachusetts, where you're from, And
I'm not from Massachusetts.
Terry, I gotta say one thing. Thank you for that Hulk Hogan stuff. Thank you for your input on a lot of stuff. Listen, Terry, you're a true talent, dude, and this is why you appear on a lot of podcasts. That's why you're on Dark Side of the Ring. But with that, we're getting close to the end, and I know what's about to happen. So bye now.
Very good. That was good.
Well, listen, something was going to come. Something was going to happen. Well, I have no idea.
What, with Missy Beefcake? What is that?
No. Who knows? Maybe like that button he pushes or whatever. Terry is good, man, but he just gets on the edge. But anyway, Jimmy, great show today. We covered a lot of subjects. And then, Jimmy, I got to tell you honestly, again, for everybody watching, me and Jimmy were talking about the, everything from the past week. And, Jimmy, listen, one thing I always liked about Jimmy, we could talk honestly about our feelings, and there's no right or wrong here, and Jimmy, I had made a couple of videos that Jimmy didn't really like. So, we were talking about that, and it's like, look, here's the reality of it, guys. Jimmy and I, we feel it's an honor that people watch us as much as they do. We're not the high right now. President State, Monty and the Pharaoh is not the highest quality produced show. That's pretty fucking clear.
Camera.
When we're in studio, I put us against anybody, but right now we're not. But you know what? We still bring you. We're trying to bring entertainment, man. In a world where it's so fucked up, I'll quote the Joker. Why so serious?
Yeah, it's a great scene. So what a great scene.
Again, if Dutch Mantel really died, I would not play the video. Okay. All right. I mean, come on. It's like, we had a beef with Dan Marotti. When he died, we felt bad. Right.
Right.
But while the war is on, guys. I mean, that's just the way it is. Each of their own. And you know what? And again, and personally, I didn't like the guy. Well, I'll be personal. I didn't like Marotti. That's facts. I didn't like him. Didn't like him as a person. Didn't like the way he treated the wrestlers. And, take it as you want. And I don't
That's
like
what the whole beef was anyway. I mean,
I don't like Romero. I don't.
No,
I don't like Hannibal. I don't like Hannibal.
No, definitely not.
You know what I mean? But you know who I do like, Jimmy? I like Sean Oliver, who will be joining me and the Pharaoh on Wednesday. Ooh, we're going to get some politics on this one, buddy.
Oh, no.
We got the left against the right. You see how I put him in the middle between us, Jimmy?
Is Kevin going to do a run-in? Because
I don't know, but you bite one ear, I'll bite the other. But you know what?
Oh, my God.
He is quite the talent, and he is a good friend, and he is a good guy. And, again, very excited for Thursday, the return of David Crockett. Fuck it, we're going to do a tribute episode to Ted Turner. That one I'm very excited for. I'm a huge Crockett mark, like I am a WCCW guy. I thought the Crockett's were very, very important.
Oh, God.
Jimmy, I know you're going to hate this.
What?
But I'm going to send us out.
No.
I'm going to play.
We didn't have to sit through Hannibal and Russo. I guess I was counting my lucky stars.
I'm going to play the first episode of...
Oh, God.
Dutch
Here we go.
Mantel is whatever.
Why don't you just call it? We'll call it Cash Cow. Go ahead.
The cash cow would be much easier.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll do the outro video. So just send us out, Jimmy. Another great show. Send us out.
You've been watching Monty and the Pharaoh, and until next time, later, brother.
Hey man, what you gonna do when it all comes back to you?
How can we keep your memory alive?
You can't. But at least I don't have to shave my back.
Well then, can I sell your mustache? I need the cash. I suppose so, but be careful with it.
Oh, James, you are so funny.
Ha! Glad you think so. I can't believe these flies are back again. They're everywhere.
Make no bones about it, James. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha!
James, are you trying to pick my bones? I have something to say. Oh, do tell. Your mustache smells like licorice. You were a terrible wrestler. No bones about it.
Is it just me, or does it smell like dead in here?
Holy cow, I didn't even notice. Well, Dutch, we'll see you next time. You'll probably see right through me, James. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week.
If I don't see you first.
No scripts, no apologies. This is Marty and the Pharaoh. Step into the fire, we're breaking all the rules. Voices getting louder, we ain't playing for fools. From the streets of New York to the worldwide stage, uncaged opinions, yeah, we bring the rage. Truth hits hard like a chair shot swing. Legends get tested when the real ones sing. No filter talk, yeah, we say it proud. If you got a problem, say it out loud. Lights go down, we ignite the sound. No backing down when the truth comes out. With a